Ladies and gentlemen, today we are joined by rapper, artist, TikTok phenom, Jae Zole. And this guy's got a lot of accolades. He has been on stage with Logic. He has a song on the soundtrack of Madden 24. He actually just popped up in my Spotify day list this morning. Dude, thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We appreciate you coming on. So I want to get right down to it and just hear the story of how you met Logic, how that whole thing played out. I'm sure you're sick of telling it 1,000 times, but we have to hear it first person.
Yeah, so I was gonna, like the open verses and stuff, you always see them, and then it was like 10:30 at night, something like that, and my homie Marcus hit me up, and he's like, bro, you got to do this one. And I was like, I'm trying to go to bed. I'll do it quick, whatever. So I posted it, and then I wake up the next day, and I saw it getting a decent amount of views. I was like, okay, this is dope. And then I was, I think I was like going to the bathroom, just scrolling through TikTok, and all of a sudden, his duet came up of him duetting me, and I just swiped past it, got a couple more swipes. I was like, hold the fuck.
I was like, wait, that was
quick.
me?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. You know, jump out of the bathroom and I like run over to my little brother. I'm like, bro, look at this. And obviously he was unimpressed, like little brothers always are, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, exactly. And then so I was like, even just that alone was enough for me. Like,
oh, dude, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, even that alone, I was like, he heard it, he fucked with it. Like that's crazy. And then I get an email, and it was like, this is Logic's manager. Call me at this number. And I read it at first. There was no subject on it. There was no like signature
You're
on
thinking
it.
like, this is a scam.
Am I going to get scammed right now?
Did the email look normal? Like, was it an official email, or was it
No,
like
it
so-and-so
was like-
at gmail.com
It was like
or
he
something?
pulled his phone out and like in 30 seconds typed it out, sent it. Like nothing on it. I was like, this might be a scam.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I have to call, just to, and I called, and he's like, yo, is this Jay? I was like, yeah. He's like, Logic's going to call you. Hangs up. I was like, what? So then I'm sitting there, like I still can't decide if I'm getting scammed or not. And then my phone rings. I was like, no fucking way. So I answer. I'm like, yo. And Logic's like, yo, Jay, what's up, bro? I was like, what's up, man? Like, and then he's like, yeah, I wanna have you come perform the song with me in Miami. And he's like, would you be down for that? I'm like, yeah, like,
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
You got to be like thinking in your head, like, play it cool, play it cool, play it cool.
oh yeah, but my heart rate was 185. Like,
I'd start stuttering, like, hi.
yeah, I'm like sweating and shit. But
Hello, sir, Mr. Logic, sir.
yeah. And then he's like, I got everything taken care of. We're gonna pick you up at your house. I got your flight. We're gonna pick you up in Miami.
Whoa.
And I was like, what the fuck, bro?
So how did that whole process work? Like, they just set it up. They said, like, this is your ticket information, whatever. You fly there. Who picks you up?
Like a driver.
Damn.
Yeah, like a driver picked me up.
Dude, so you were just fucking hanging out, nothing going on. Because these verses, that was huge for a little bit. Everyone was doing it. Every big artist, like open verse.
100%.
And so you just weren't even thinking, like, I'll just do it for fun, see if something happens. Next thing you know, you're getting picked up at your house.
Yeah.
Oh my
and dude,
God.
he pulled up in like a brand new Tesla and shit too. I was like, what the fuck?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So from the time that you land to the time you're on stage, what happens between that?
So I got to the like venue. It was like the Bitcoin.
Oh, the Bitcoin festival or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. Logic wasn't there yet, so I just kind of was hanging out backstage. I got to watch Steve Aoki's set. That was pretty cool.
That's sweet.
Just hanging out there, and then Logic got there, said what's up, and then we were hanging out on his like bus thing.
Dude, what is that like? What's the aura that is Logic on his tour bus?
I mean, you know how you always, I think a lot of people like idolize celebrities, put them on this like pedestal.
Yeah.
When I met him, it's like I could like,
He's a normal dude.
I could like go to the bar down the street and like talk to this dude, and yeah, just like a normal dude, super cool. It's just down to earth.
Yeah.
Like he didn't treat me like I was lesser, and like he's like off rip, just like hugs me. He's like, bro, what's up? Like, so nice to meet you. I'm like, nice to meet me, bro. What? Nice to meet you. Like, but yeah, it was super cool. And then I think the coolest thing about him is that a lot of the people on his team now are people he grew up with, like his day one friends.
Yeah.
Are like his creative director is someone he grew up with. Like all those positions he gave to people that he grew up with, that he's been friends with forever. So just super down to earth. Like I couldn't have asked for like a cooler experience.
Well, that's the thing you hear about a lot of celebrities that are big celebrities that are still doing well and maintain a normal lifestyle, is they bring in people that were friends with them before the fame,
100%.
before the money, and that's how they like me. They liked me before.
Exactly.
They might like me a little more now because of it, but there's a basis there at least. Yeah. Damn, so you go on the bus and you're just hanging out. Do you know at this point you're for sure performing?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all going down. Like what's that anticipation like leading up to it?
Were you nervous?
Oh, dude, straight fight or flight mode for like 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
Just adrenaline. And it was
How many
like,
people, when you went up on stage, how many people were there? Do you know?
I think it was 15 to 20,000
Wow.
in that range. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh. Have you performed live before this? Like in general. Have you like could you give an estimate of like your biggest show at that point?
Before that, 50.
This is a fucking change up.
Yeah.
It's like you jump from like a base level to this is the top spot.
Yeah.
Like
there was no minor leagues.
Because he was a headliner for it, was he not?
Yeah, he was the headliner.
He was the headliner
Oh,
for the Bitcoin
dude,
Festival.
that's
he's
so
like
awesome.
he's the prime spot of the entire festival.
Yeah.
So now is this song that you performed with him in the middle of his set? Or
Yeah.
where was it? It's like somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, so he had it in the middle of his set. I watched. It was like right in the middle. So
Damn.
I watched the first half, and he doesn't use a backing track.
Yeah.
He's just up there. He raps every word, and like a lot of people don't understand how fucking crazy that is. You're running around stage, like to have that breath control
Yeah.
is insane. And he like stopped. He's like, I did a contest and this white boy from Minnesota is the one that won it, and he like calls me out, and I pretty much blacked out. Like,
Yeah.
there was so much adrenaline going.
Oh, I bet.
But the crazy thing is, it's easier. It's honestly easier to perform in front of a crowd of that size than it is to perform in front of a crowd of like 50, because those crowds of like 50 are it's so personal.
You're seeing every
Yeah.
You
person.
see everyone.
Yeah.
You see how they react. When it's like 10 to 20,000, if like
You're not even looking at one person.
yeah,
I
if
would
1,000
imagine.
of them are jumping, then the rest are probably just gonna fall right in line. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So like the small crowds honestly are more intimidating in that sense.
Wow, that's crazy. Like after
Yeah.
after that's done, so first off, at the end of that song, I saw a clip on your Instagram where he's like giving you a chain,
Yeah.
like puts a chain on you,
Yeah.
and like he says some really, really nice things about you. He says
He
like
did, yeah.
you're really promising, you're a really talented guy, you have this bright future ahead of you, whatever.
Mhm.
What is that like after that? Like stepping off of that stage, what was going through your mind?
I mean, that's got to be what heroin feels like. I mean, like the high was. This shit was. I mean, felt like I was walking on clouds. Started clicking my heels and shit.
I bet. Damn. So did you get to finish out the rest of this? Like, did you watch the rest of his set? Like,
Yep.
and then what? Do you stay the night in Miami that night?
Mhm. So, we go back into his bus, and he was working out like the money stuff with the promoter, whatever. And I was supposed to go back to the hotel, and then the driver came to get me, and Logic was like, "Nah, Jay, you trying to come to Nobu?"
Damn.
I was like, "Fucking Nobu, bro!" Like, hell yeah. So we get on like this different bus and drive. We go to Nobu. I have never seen so many rich people before.
oh, I bet.
Oh my
Especially in
God.
Miami, like Nobu in
That
Miami.
shit was crazy. And he gets his table, and then
I've never even been. What is Nobu? It's just like a high end steakhouse, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
They got like everything, steaks, seafood, stuff like that. And he paid for everyone. Like, I wasn't 21 yet, and he was like, "All right, we're getting drinks for everybody." He got me. He made sure I got a drink. But yes, it was. I can't like there were people like just Balenciaga full body suits on. It's like
Thousands of dollars.
Shit's worth more than like my life right now. Like,
right. Everything I
yeah.
own. Yeah, my entire net worth is on this guy's
Dude,
body.
You must have been laying in the hotel that night, like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
this is moving so fast.
Yeah, it was. We went back to the hotel, and then I think my flight left at like 4 a.m. or something like that. But Logic invited me up to a suite with him and C-Dot Castro, and we were just chopping it up in there for a while. And yeah, just like it's super cool to see that there's still celebrities that are as down to earth as they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they could easily be like, all right, you did your thing. Go to the hotel. Get on that plane. I'm not going to speak to you
Yeah,
anymore.
good point.
Yeah, it could be a whole ploy just to look like a nice guy,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Bringing out, like, we're bringing a fan out.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just, all right, see, man,
All right,
thanks.
get the fuck out of my face.
And I think a guy like Logic, I think that's why he's gotten so successful is because
100%.
of being just such a down-to-earth guy. And that's how he comes across and everything
agree.
I've ever seen with him in it, Nothing would ever lead me to believe that he's, gotten a big head out of everything,
Well, and
Yeah.
so many people have tried to tear him down throughout his career, and the fans never have left. At a certain point, if you have a good enough fan base, like you're around forever. You'd
Dude,
have to really fuck
yeah.
up.
I was a massive Logic fan. Like he was like the only guy I would listen to around that like gang-related area.
Yeah.
That like during that
Under
time
Pressure.
frame. Yeah,
that,
during
that
Under
project
Pressure.
I listened to religiously.
Dude, that's like one of the only whole albums I can listen to front to back, not skip anything. Like so good. The
Yeah.
entire thing. All the videos were great. Like, dude, it was just an unbelievable front to back.
that project.
whole
is
project.
incredible.
Yeah, it's nuts. So, being around him, did you ever feel like you couldn't, or I guess did you just like ask him advice at all? Like, did you just ask him like, hey, how can I make this a career? How can I be better? How can I do
Yeah.
this?
He gave me a lot of advice. The big thing is just stay true to yourself and just never stop. I mean, you never know when that, like, leading up to that, when that Logic shit happened, was like probably the lowest point I'd ever been in my life. And it was kind of like, what am I even doing right now? Like, I got to figure this shit out. And then that happens. And it's like, okay, like leading up to it never would have happened had I just been like, fuck this, I'm done. You know what I mean?
100%.
And he just said, always like stick to it. And keep your circle small is a big thing too. Keep it with like you said, like before, the people that rocked with you before that level are the people that need to be there when you are at that level. I think that was a huge thing because I've definitely, after the Logic shit, and I'm not famous by any means, and I still had people that were like, yo, bro, like acting like we were best friends. It's like, I've talked to you one time in my life.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's crazy how that
Oh
shit
yeah,
works.
no, 100%. I notice a lot of that when like we go in massive ebbs and flows. It's like we get a few videos that'll get a million views, and then all of a sudden, everyone else is like, "Oh, I listen to that podcast all the time," and it's like, "Oh, no, you
It's
do
like,
not.
No, you don't.
No,
Yeah.
you definitely do not." Yeah, so I think that's with any industry. Obviously,
100%.
everyone wants to be a part of something that's successful, but until it gets to there, they don't want to associate themselves with it in fear of
Exactly.
them looking also inferior,
Exactly.
to what's going on.
Yeah.
So then now fast forward to the Madden 24 soundtrack. How did that whole thing come about? How did you get a song on the Madden 24 soundtrack? That's crazy.
So, my manager Nato, shout out to Nato, by the way. He's been working with me since 2020. And he has never, tried to get any money out of me that like wasn't part of the music stuff. Like he's been so ride or die for me. Like I got so much love for that dude. He introduced me to a guy named Kyle, who's kind of like my other manager now. Same thing with Kyle. Like I don't have a lot to offer as an independent artist. You know what I mean? I don't have a label budget. It's like I can't put you on salary, shit like that.
Right.
And these guys, they mess with me enough to be like, dude, we just want to make music and work. So I got introduced to those two, and a producer that Kyle knew reached out and was like, yo, you got anything you want to pitch to Madden? And he was like, then he hit me up. He's like, yo, put a playlist together. We're going to send it to Madden. I was like, all right, bet. Gave him like 5 songs, And they picked the worst one. Glory was the worst song on that playlist, and that's the one they went with. But yeah, it was just, connections, getting to pitch the songs.
It's unbelievable to see the names that your name's next to. Too.
That's what I was
some of
going to
the-
pull up.
That
the
was-
biggest
yeah.
stars at that very moment in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and just to have the opportunity to be like, cause like I'm a Madden. I love Madden. I've
Yeah.
played hours, especially
same.
24. I have heard your song hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy to me when I put it all together,
Yeah.
man. Cause like
Yeah.
So just to give people an idea, for people that don't know Madden and don't know the soundtracks in Madden, how like monumental that is, there's names on here: Armani White, ASAP Ferg, ESTG, Jack Harlow, Jae Zole, J-Rock, Wiz Khalifa, Young Devin, Young Chris, St. John, London on the Track, Joey Badass, Mike Dimes, Marshmello, Polo G. I mean, like, the names on this
Yeah, it's
cover
crazy.
are unbelievable.
It's
Like
crazy.
the star power just in that lineup is insane.
Yeah.
And I would love to know how many people submitted playlists. Like to
Yeah.
get picked out, man. That's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
It was such a blessing, and I got to give a lot of the credit to Nato and Kyle for making that happen.
Now, I mean, I'm sure everyone's thinking this, and I gotta ask, what kind of a money deal, or is it more exposure that you get from being involved in something like that? Like,
Yeah.
do you get significant publishing money for being on Madden 24?
So you get an upfront payment, and then that's like split with everyone that worked on the song, and then I was able to keep the streaming money for it,
That's so cool.
which was huge.
I would imagine that
That's
gets looked
awesome.
up a bunch from just
Yeah.
being on the
Yeah.
playlist.
The back end money is where the money really is.
Yeah.
A lot of people fall for like the trap of like, oh, you're gonna offer me X amount of dollars and that's it. Okay, cool, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
And they miss out on like I just saw this post about this dude that Michael Jackson sampled, and he was like, I can give you 20K or I can give you this percent of the split. The dude took the 20K. That now would have been worth, like, if he took the percentage,
Oh yeah.
millions of dollars.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough because also, I'm sure people look at it like, oh, this guy doesn't really have much going on. I'm just going to take the upfront money.
Yeah.
And that seems more guaranteed.
Yeah. But yeah, so I get the stream, and then it's split, with everyone that worked on it.
How many people worked on that particular song that got chosen?
I think it was 4 or 5. Nato engineered it. Nato and a dude named Yukon engineered it. Kyle produced it, and then Chaz was another co-producer on it. So
Cool.
yeah,
Hell yeah, dude. That is insane. Is it a trip? Do you play Madden?
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I played every Madden
Yeah,
since
okay.
like the Wii.
Okay, so
Dude,
was it a
100%.
trip
Yeah.
while you're playing Madden 24? Like you're hearing your own
Yeah.
song on the game.
It still trips me out.
That
Like,
is
it's-
crazy.
Yeah, I can't even wrap my head around it.
That is
honestly.
so cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Did you have a lot of people hit you up about
Oh
that?
hell yeah! It was A lot of people were hitting me up about that. Just like a lot of how the hell did that even? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
but
nuts. Do you think you've gotten any other opportunities just based on that?
it's a good question. I think it's definitely good to have on the resume.
Oh yeah.
I think people take it a little bit more seriously when you can pull up something like that. I look at it all as stepping stones. You
Yeah.
know, the Logic shit, the Madden shit. I had some crazy shit happen like 2 weeks ago. I think it all just kind of happens in steps. You know what I mean? So
100%. Well, what do you got in the pipeline right now? Like, what do you have for future things going on?
I signed an NDA, so I can't like give.
So it's something cool.
I can't give like specifics on anything. But it was like I got flown out to do some work for like a pretty A-list celebrity. I was like at his
Yeah.
house.
I saw you were
Oh,
you had a
man,
post on
that's
your
awesome.
Instagram. You were in a studio in Calabasas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out there. I don't even know if I could say who it was. I don't want to get in trouble or anything.
No,
but,
no worries.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
But no, that was one of those things that happened where it's like I can't even tell anybody this because no one's gonna believe me.
Right.
So like, but yeah, that happened. A lot of the shit I'm doing now is focusing a lot on the songwriting side. I love writing. Huge reason, like I never got into music for the money or the fame. Like fame is like bottom of the list things that I really want in life. I just love to make music. So the songwriting aspect of it, I love. Kind of like it's a lot like acting almost. You put yourself, in that artist's shoes and just make music like they would. So that's like a huge part of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. 100%. Dude, I couldn't. Oh, wow. It's cool because I think you give me these vibes. Like, obviously, you understand what you're doing and you love doing it. But I think, like, it's rare that you see someone that kind of loves the whole package of the grind. That's like the process of doing it, the thing itself, the execution of it. And I think you kind of have to have that to even have an opportunity to take it to a level that some would consider successful.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've already done a really good job of that. Like you have this awesome portfolio of proof of concept that you can do it and that you are doing it.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see, honestly. And I think that was a big reason why we wanted to have you on. Like, obviously, we already like your music. Like, we already stream it ourselves. But to be able to sit down and kind of get your story, I think was something that really interested us. Like, give us a peek behind the curtain of, like, who is Jae Zole?
Yeah.
Like, what makes you you?
So, I mean, it all started, like I said earlier, from a town called Sauk Center. Super small, like 4,000 people. And there's no music scene there. People like hard rock and shit. Like if you go to the bar, it's a bunch of 65-year-olds. If they heard some rap shit at the bar,
some Creed, a lot of Creed going on.
If they heard a rap song, like, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah. So, when I was 14, I said, "Mom, Dad, I don't want any Christmas presents. Get me a laptop. Give me a mic." So they got me a laptop and a mic. And then, I just started working, and my music for like 3-4 years was trash. It was bad.
I mean, that's anything.
Yeah.
But you have to blindly just be in love with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm at that time, did you think, like, this is awesome? This is the best shit?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, I'd finish the song and be like, dude, this is the one.
This is
like,
the banger.
I'm going to be famous now.
Were you getting clowned on at school, or were people pretty supportive in being a small town in Minnesota?
Yeah, it was definitely a mix. Some people definitely clowned on me, which is fine. The music was not great, but a lot of people definitely supported me. My friends, a lot of my homies, I could not ask for a better circle. Like, I'm driving, 3 hours to go do a show for 25 people, and my homies like, yo, can I come? I want to, and they'll, we'll pack 4 of them in the car, and we'll get there, and they'll, that kind of love is, a huge part of what keeps me able to, keep going with it. But there, every school's kind of got a SoundCloud rapper and stuff. Yeah,
100%.
So there was,
we had 3 or 4 of them at our high school.
Yeah. So there was, there was a SoundCloud rapper in the town next to me that we had, beef. And we dropped, diss tracks and shit.
Yeah.
Yes, dude, I love hearing
common.
this.
That's so common.
Then, one moved to my school, and we had beef. And now we're cool now. He's a super cool dude. But for some reason, we hated each other.
It's a territorial thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a primal instinct. Like, this is my lane, not yours.
SoundCloud rappers. But, yeah, so we beefed and dropped diss tracks and that whole thing. But
was the school, getting behind it? Was everyone waiting for the reply after one would drop one?
There was this, oh, man. It was I think it was my senior year. Someone mentioned a rap battle. We were all in the gym for some reason, and someone heard rap battle, and all of a sudden everyone just circles around us. I was like, God damn, dude. And I look over, and my science teacher is in the crowd, what's going on over here? Listening to it. Oh, it was so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you always gone by Jae Zole, or did you have an original name that you changed off of?
It's always been Jae Zole.
Why Jae Zole?
It's my first name, my last name, cut in half, basically.
Okay.
And that took me a month.
It's
to
fucking
figure out.
clean though. It works, man.
Yeah, it works, but yeah, I'd spend hours just staring at a wall, what the hell do I call myself?
Yeah, you put so much emphasis on it too. I'm sure, the brand. What am I going to look like? What is my name going to be? Do I need a logo?
Yeah.
Your branding. Everyone puts so much importance on the branding before it even starts
I know.
of anything. I mean, us even with the podcast, dude. I can't tell you how many different iterations of the branding and the logo that we've already been through, but pre even starting. Like I'm a graphic designer by trade, and so like even leading up to it, I made at least 20 different versions of what I thought that this logo should be.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to have a friend make it because I can't make this.
Yeah, because you're like biased. And
yeah, totally.
I deal with that same shit.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, and what sucks for us with our branding is like at the time, on tap, it was all about getting drunk. Like that's just what we did.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time we recorded and I was like actually pretty snapped up. And it's like we built this brand under it, and so we don't want to change the name, but it's not really about drinking beer anymore.
Yeah.
So like I comfort myself by like on tap, it's bar talk.
Yeah.
It's not always, dude. We used to fucking just rip shots the whole time.
I'm sure that made for
like
some
even when we
pods.
started getting some viewership, like it was still just blackout talking on the mic and then listening to it on Tuesday and being like, oh my god. Dude.
The whole premise was like, obviously it's no secret, like short form content is what's the most popular thing.
It's king right now.
And then ideally you want to bring people to your longer form things, whether that be full length videos, interviews, whatever the case. So for us, it was like, how drunk can we get and who's going to say the craziest thing? And we're going to clip that out and it's going to get a ton of views. People are going to come to the podcast.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out that way because it was like the clips were good and the clips would get 1 million views. And then, they'd come to the regular episode and be like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
These guys are just drunk rambling for an hour.
For some reason, we couldn't get brand deals.
I wonder why.
Not brand safe, not thinking about it. Probably getting, shadow banned because there's like alcohol, vapes, things in the shot that just like automatically don't push the video. Like things that you just have to learn by just doing. But how has that, do you think, impacted what you got going on? Like from a content perspective, obviously that's what's gotten you the most attention, especially with the Logic situation. I saw on your TikTok that you had a video that really blew up. That was a remix of the BBL Drizzy song.
Yeah, I wanted that Metro Boomin beat.
That was so good. That was so funny.
I wanted that beat so bad. But yeah, I want to like write music for Drake someday. So like, hope he doesn't have any hard feelings there. Because I just wanted the Metro beat. But
yeah. So speaking of rap beef,
yeah.
Do you think it's kind of crazy now? Because when I was younger, I always had this understanding that like rappers wrote their own music. It was kind of like if you were known as having a ghostwriter, you weren't a real artist. And then it came out that Drake uses ghost artists, and people were like, "Who cares? The music's great." And now you have people like Benny Blanco that are as popular. He's an A-list celebrity just because he wrote so many of these great songs. And like for someone like you that wants to get into writing for other people and for yourself, like it opened up a lot of doors. It was like it was like wrestling, It's crazy now growing up because I watched wrestling when I was young, and it was like these guys were always in character even when they were out in the streets, and now they're retiring, doing podcasts, talking about it. And with songwriting, it's crazy for me to see the tides flip like that.
Yeah, it's pretty rare nowadays for someone to write their own songs.
Or at least the entire thing. Everyone's got writers with them at least.
It's pretty rare.
It's wild to me because in like a genre like country music, like that's the norm. Like every song that you see that's a massive country song has multiple writers on the song, So it's funny that like a genre like specifically hip hop gets such a bad like representation for that because like every other genre that's just so common.
Every pop song has like 4 or 5 writers on it.
A lot of times you'll hear like these demos of the writer singing it and like pitching it to the artist. It's like, damn, this is almost better than the original song.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I've been going through the Benny Blanco rabbit hole lately.
His accolades are crazy.
It was my childhood, man. Like every banger after banger, because I remember when Kesha hit the scene, when Katy Perry blew up, and then to find out he basically wrote every one of the main singles that she had, and like unbelievable. But like just to see, he just did a podcast where he was like playing these demos, and
is it Danny Wright?
I can't remember 100%. I wish I could give him credit because it was a
with
great
the
interview.
Yeah, I know
was
exactly
him.
what you're talking about.
And like the way that they would play it, like they moves like Jagger.
Yeah.
They didn't have the words right there, but it was like they knew how many syllables could fit in. So you could kind of put it together, and it really peeks into how songwriting is done. Because from the surface, if you don't know anything about it, it seems like, oh, that's easy. They write a song, but there's so much to it.
Yeah, writing is honestly, in my eyes, like, I would just love to be a successful writer, because I was when I was in LA one time, we were at a studio and I was talking to the engineer, waiting for everyone else to show up, and he was like, "Yeah, my homie's a writer. He wrote 7 Rings for Ariana Grande, or like he wrote part of it.
Damn.
So you got like a 15% split, something like that.
That is insane.
Yeah, those royalties got to be nice.
Guess what his first royalty check was a month after it released?
I wouldn't even be able to guess. 10 grand, 20 grand?
$500,000.
Oh my God. Dude, immediately I'd be like, yeah, I'm retired.
Yeah.
This is all I'm doing.
Dude, you don't even have to tour or anything,
Exactly.
you know.
You can
like,
still go to Walmart and not get harassed by people.
Oh, man, there's got to be so many writers around Hollywood that are just filthy rich and no one has a fucking clue
100%.
who they are.
That's almost better than being famous, because you can
That's-
still go out in public.
I 100%.
But you're rich?
agree.
Like rich without the fame? Like that
And
level
you
of
get, you
rich
get to
without
do
the
what
fame?
you love. You get to do music. And
Yeah. I bet there's some people that probably don't like it though. That are like, I'm the dude.
Yeah.
But people don't recognize that. There's got to be some part of you that's like, I want to have that notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think that's where you get a guy like Benny Blanco. I mean, I don't mean to keep dick riding him,
Yeah.
but he like found a way to be like an influencer at the same time too. And
Yeah, good point.
I think it's kind of like it goes with like writers for TV also. You know, they don't get any of the credit but get the money. It's an odd lifestyle. It's more of an actual job
Right.
than being a performer. You know, it's a different lifestyle, I can only assume. And obviously the royalty checks are fucking nice.
That engineer told me that, and I was like, fuck being an artist, bro. I'm trying to write. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So what's your creative process like? When you're starting a song, what do you do? Like, do you have any like unconventional ways of getting yourself in a creative mindset?
I mean, some of my biggest songs I've written like at the most random, like, I don't know if you know the song Lovesick. It's one of my bigger songs. I wrote that while I was pushing carts at Walmart. Like, it's just like a lot of the times the creativity hits me when I'm not even in the studio. And then when I'm in the studio, my process, it depends on like the beat. A lot of the time, sometimes I'll freestyle, sometimes I'll write, sometimes I'll mumble, like you said, you like mumble how many syllables and then write later. I'm kind of all over the place with it, just whatever I'm feeling in the moment.
No,
Yeah,
that's
you can't
awesome.
really
That's the way to go.
pinpoint it. You know, it just kind of happens.
Exactly.
No, I think that's where real creative flows too. You don't
Yeah.
box yourself in and say, I have to do this.
Exactly.
No, and honestly, I think that's where a lot of artists get trapped in this cycle of constantly abusing substances
I know.
too, because that's like,
Yeah.
I have to be fucked up in order
I
to
know.
be creative and things like that. And I think not putting yourself in a box and saying, I have to do this, I think gives you the benefit of allowing yourself to
100%.
experiment in other ways to get yourself creative.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, though. You almost have to go through the trenches and physically
Yeah.
be putting yourself in these places that you don't really want to be in order to experience those highs and give yourself
Yeah.
the opportunity. Like, most people wouldn't want to be pushing carts at Walmart at all.
I was one of those people. That shit was ass. I did not like that.
I bet. Yeah, dude, I can't even imagine. So like, are you doing music full time right now? Like what
No.
are you doing?
So right now I do music and then I'm in school and then I work too. Going to school for physical therapy. That's like another huge passion of mine. I love
Nice.
fitness, stuff like that. Love being able to help people. And then I do music like mostly as my job, and then if I need extra money, I'll pick up another thing like mowing lawns, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just figured it's like with the degree I'll get, I can do travel work. So if I need to be in LA, I could be working at the same time if the money from the music's not great at the time. And then if the money from music is great at the time, I can just take a break from the other thing. I'm just trying to set myself up in the best position for success, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And also, I heard this quote a while ago that really resonated with me that says, if art imitates life, you still have to have a life.
100%.
So having something outside of your hobby, your passion, I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get stuck in the cycle of burnout and hating what they do because they try to focus on just that.
Yeah.
And they get mad when, maybe things don't go their way or traction doesn't build as fast as they thought it would. And I think a lot of people experience that burnout after big moments, especially big milestones, like for example,
100%.
that moment that you had on stage with Logic in Miami.
Yep.
I can imagine a lot of people short term after that maybe wouldn't stick with it for very long because that high, how do you come close to something like that again in the near future? It's almost impossible.
I know. I get that. I do get that a lot. And that's like, that's a great quote because I think, being in school, pursuing a degree and stuff, a lot of people be like, oh, that's fucking lame. But it's like, it's so refreshing to be able to say music's, not where I want it to be right now. It's like, I'll keep working at it, obviously, but I have this other thing I'm also working on. So it's not like I'm not sitting there like, fuck, dude, like, what do I do? Sitting around, like, just kind of throwing myself a pity party. It's like, hey, like, I'm still working on other shit. And it's just refreshing. And it helps a lot writing-wise, like with writer's block, where it's like, well, I just wrote a bunch of songs. Now I got to focus on this instead of being like, got to make more. Then I can come back to writing, and it's like I feel refreshed, clean slate, can start writing some new stuff.
Well, and like physical therapy, being your backup plan to music, like that's one hell of a fucking backup plan.
Yeah, seriously.
It's also a passion, and it pays goddamn good.
Yeah.
Like I totally see what you're doing, man. It makes sense. You can't put, it's tough because at certain points you have to put all your eggs in the basket to maybe push to that next level, but you also can get caught. You can get caught in a bad spot, and to find the balance of still, it really just comes down to how much a person's willing to grind.
Exactly.
We struggle with it all the time with the podcast, where we all have full-time gigs. Cody's got fucking 2 kids that are under 3 years old.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Like we always want to do more.
Yeah.
And we don't always grind the way we should, and we see it in the numbers. And if you aren't consistently posting, if you're not consistently just trying to create and better your content, like it's just a matter of time before it ends. And we took an 8-month break, and just trying to come back, it's not the same. We've had to build just to get back to an audience that we had before when we were posting all the time. And staying consistent is key.
100%.
And just staying fresh and engaged.
Yeah. How do you think your relationship with social media has changed since pursuing music as a career?
I hate social media. I mean, I hate it for the reasons of like people who like to talk shit. And who's the one that said people love to talk shit on the internet? People got too comfortable talking shit on the internet and not getting punched in the face or something like that.
Sounds like a Rogan quote.
It might have, I can't remember who it was. Yeah, just like it's such a toxic environment a lot of the time.
Well, you can hide behind the screen and a name that, maybe isn't even you.
When you're in an argument with a person, the thing that you can say that's going to turn this physical or take it to the next level. And sometimes you just avoid saying it and to keep it from going to that next level. When there's no consequence that could immediately happen and you can type whatever you want.
Say whatever you want.
Just go to the meanest thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's fucking so toxic.
I know.
Yeah, I find myself really easily able to not let negative comments get to me. But what is your thoughts on seeing hate comments on some pieces of content that you post?
A lot of the times it's like stuff like tell me to change shit about songs and stuff. It's like they'll say it and it's like, did you hear that on like YouTube or like that's just not something you would do. So like a lot of the times it's just
bad advice.
Yeah,
basically.
it's just in one ear out the other. But the big thing I don't like about social media is like when the views aren't as great.
Yeah.
It's so mentally draining and you kind of feel like shit.
Yeah, I think the only comments that really get to me are comments that do have some truth to it.
Yeah,
you know, where
those
it's
sting
like,
a little bit.
they
for
do.
Sure.
You know, I will find myself like, you know, being in a grind where it's like Sam said, we have full-time jobs too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like there'll be some weeks where I just don't have enough time to like cut clips out of the full-length podcast that we do.
Yeah.
And so like I'll just post a not so good clip. And even I know like this is
Yeah.
not my best work.
Yep.
And some of the comments would be like, what's like one recently, like not everyone should have a podcast or make podcast equipment more expensive. And then I'm thinking like, damn, he's right. Like that was actually a really bad piece of content in general. Yeah, like those are the ones that sting, like the ones that do have some truth or like that align with your thought on it too.
100%.
It's like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it keeps you in check, though.
It does. It
keeps
does.
You grounded for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's also part of what makes it better is going through those periods of like the getting 100 views on a post and then the next one gets 1 million and then it's like, okay, this is awesome. Like there's nothing that can replace that high of like a real win, you know?
And that can't be healthy.
No.
Because like I've been stuck when we're popping and our clips are going, especially when they had the old TikTok home screen where every notification would like take up the whole screen. I would refresh, new whole page, refresh, and I would just watch it, and it's like, dude, this is sickening.
It just like give me another hit, and like,
then
check it again in 10 minutes.
We have a couple bomb, and it's like, what the fuck is happening?
I've had the same shit happen.
You get in your own head about it. Oh, it's not good. I'm just doing it just to do it, you know, whatever. How do you have like a content strategy? Like, do you try to employ like some sort of ideology behind how you're posting, what you're posting? Is there a strategy behind it?
I've tried to come up with strategies, and then I see someone set their phone up on the counter and take a 15-second video and it gets 4 million views. It's like, it's not that deep. Right. I'm just going to post songs. If people like it.
When you want, how you want.
It's like, I'm an independent artist. I always have been. I don't have the money to pay a full-time videographer or a full-time editor. It's like it's me and my phone and a tripod. Like
you don't got that money, junkie money.
No, because that label money is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, how many people do you think get propped up because they have the money to put behind something like that? There's a lot of people that you see even in like the trending playlists on Spotify, and now come to find out like a lot of these playlists on Spotify are pay to play. Like you can just pay enough money to be in these playlists.
Everything is pay to play.
You'll automatically get all these listeners and get this attention, regardless if you deserve it or not. So there's some aspect that you can replace talent with money.
Well, even the Grammys are pay to play.
Really?
Oh hell yeah!
I guess I don't even watch the Grammys.
number one hits on Billboard, pay to play.
That's insane to me.
Yeah,
but it works. It's marketing money.
It is.
I mean, it's money to advertise for the song. It's like if you have a business and you buy a billboard, and a lot of people are going to see this, you're going to get more business because they see your billboard.
Exactly.
If you're a HVAC company and they see this HVAC and they need their ducts cleaned at their house, they're going to just call whoever they just saw. If they want to listen to a song, they're going to just listen to the one that Spotify gives to them.
Yeah. A big thing I've had people tell me is like, bro, if you had the same marketing as like Post Malone, you would be sky high right now. It's like, well, I don't, so you got to figure out a way to do it. But it's hard to compete with these labels.
It's a dangerous game because I could see a lot of people putting themselves into a lot of debt to try to do that.
Well, so a lot of artists fall for the 360 deal, where you get offered. They're like, here's $600,000 that we're gonna give you if you sign right here. Most people are like, hell yeah! Like, especially artists, that don't have a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's $600,000. Like, come on.
And so from what I understand, a lot of those deals are structured where they get every bit of money that you make until that is paid off.
Correct.
Okay.
Then you start to make money. So it's basically a loan.
And then they still get a percentage after that.
Correct.
Wow.
And usually their percentage is way higher than yours.
Because they're taking the risk.
Yeah. So the real money artists make is on tour because labels can't really touch your tour money. But, there was a thing on the internet about Snoop Dogg. He only made $60,000 for one of like his biggest hits because the label gets a split, the featuring artist gets a split, the producers get a split, the engineers get a split. So at the end of the day, it's like you get 10% of your own song.
Yeah, and I would imagine a guy like Snoop Dogg, there could be 30 people involved with a song.
Exactly.
And then it's like
4 writers.
Yeah.
4 engineers.
Oh my
It's-
God. Yeah, that's insane. And I do know what it costs to get Snoop Dogg as an appearance, and his appearance fee is not light nowadays.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's
Yeah.
not light.
I can't imagine it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is not light. I did actually get to just do photos for this last stop that he was in Hinckley,
really?
Minnesota here last August or September. And so just getting to be around a tour crew like Snoop Dogg's is insane. I mean, like the knowledge, like the
it's
speed
crazy.
that they work is like to set up a set like what he had, even though it was so simple, it just is insane to me.
Oh, it's insane.
The dynamic of touring. Have you ever? I mean, how do you get started in getting into like a tour schedule? Like, how do you coordinate a tour of your own once you get a big base following?
A lot of that's the label. They'll give you like someone like a tour manager, and then basically what you do, you just find what cities are listening to you the most, schedule the tours there. But a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to actually sell tickets.
Oh,
to
I
shows.
bet. Well, that's a big controversy right now because a lot of these huge artists will have big streaming numbers, but they can't sell tickets
Exactly.
because there's not a lot of
Especially
real fans.
Like some of the guys, when audios would blow up on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
it would get their songs would have literally 1 billion listens, but couldn't fill a 500-person venue.
Right.
And it's got to be crazy because online, if you're getting a billion streams on your song, online you are famous as fuck. But then out on the streets, it's just a different game, especially with the way the algorithms are tailored today. Like
It's crazy.
I'll see something where that in my head it's as viral as can be, but it's all the same people that have the same interest in me. I'll ask a buddy that has a different algo, and they're like, I
who the
have
hell is
no
that?
idea
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that makes it way harder nowadays too.
100%.
Because you're reaching a very specific niche audience. And I can't remember what the statistic is, but there's something in entertainment right now where there's a large percentage of people that don't share specific interests, even with their close friends. So this is becoming more popular on YouTube. Like a lot of the channels that I subscribe to, like I don't share a lot of this with my friends. I just consume that myself. Like they'll come out with, there's channels that I am just like diehard for. Like I watch every single episode, but I'll try to talk with someone about it, and they're like, I have no idea who that is. I'm like, how do you not know? Like they have millions of subscribers. How do you not know who this person is?
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that.
But it happens all the time on Instagram. I'll scroll through a video and I'll see like, oh my gosh, this video has like 1 million likes. I click on the page, 10 million followers. I'm like, how have I never heard this name before? 10 million people like this person enough to follow them, and I've never even heard this name.
I know.
Dude,
It's
that's
crazy.
so like World of T-shirts, Joshua Block.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
he is all over my algorithm.
Me
And
too, actually.
I made a joke. We got like McDonald's at work or something for the crew, and some fries fell out of the bag, and I was like, put the fries in the bag, and not one person knew what I was talking about. I was like, what? You guys don't see this every day? They're like, no, we have no idea.
Yeah.
And how do you describe World of T-shirts to somebody? Like that's not an easy sell. You just have to see it yourself.
Yeah, and talk about a hell of a come up story. I mean, if you had to describe him to someone, what would you say? Like a slightly on the spectrum TikTok influencer,
Honestly,
alcoholic.
It's sad. It's almost sad because when you start describing him, you feel bad for him because he's in a weird spot where like he's got this manager named Mr. Based.
That dude's a piece of shit.
He's a literal piece of shit. He was just in prison. Like he's just a known loser.
Yeah.
And he's just exploiting him, making him rage baiting him, and just streaming right in his face to get clicks and like.
Oh God! I saw this live stream of World of Shirts just punching his own face.
Yeah.
I
He,
only made
bites.
400K this year.
Yeah.
Punching himself in the face.
Dude, it's so sad because what's going on, it's like, it's not okay. He obviously is on the spectrum and he's crashing out constantly. But for some reason, you just cannot stop watching it. Like, it's world-class TV, dude.
That is where TV is now.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
shout out Josh, man. I know you're listening. buddy.
Yeah, Josh and Kanye, our two biggest listeners.
Kanye.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the whole Kanye
Oh shit,
controversy
man.
going on right now? I mean, talk about a brilliant mind, but whoa, when you position yourself in a light like that, that's insane.
I don't know how blurred the line is between mental illness and just trying to get people to notice. Like his new shit, you know what I mean? Because he's always been the type that does some, like he'll just wild out and do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I'm dropping an album.
Yes.
This is like what the fuck,
dude?
bro?
Super Bowl commercial takes out a Super Bowl commercial, and the only shirt on there is a swastika. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then it makes it hard to like listen to his music still. And like Kanye is a huge inspiration for me. Like
College Dropout was
My
like
Beautiful
one of my
Dark
favorite
Twisted
albums.
Fantasy is my favorite album of all time.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm listening to it. It's like this dude like rocks swastikas now and shit.
Unreal.
What are you doing?
I mean, I was just looking at some of his music, and from early 2000s to about 2015, like if he would have just retired there, he would have gone down as a music god. You know, like if he wouldn't have done like he did crazy things before that, but it was nothing too wild. People just kind of. But you know, in the last 10 years, it's like I love Kanye. I can't defend him anymore. It's done. I've given up. It's like I'm still gonna listen. I'm gonna guilty pleasure listen to his music, but I'm not gonna openly fucking love Kanye now.
I know. It's sad because he honestly like his early albums. Like you're right. If he would have retired at that point, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've streamed the song "Can't Tell Me Nothing."
Yeah,
thousands of times.
Oh, yeah.
That used to be like the song I would listen to like pre-gaming, or like hyping myself up to go do something. It was always "Can't Tell Me Nothing."
Yeah, and then if you like watch those videos of him in the studio sampling and shit like that, dude's a genius.
Yeah,
or his documentary on Netflix. I've watched it 3 times.
The dude's a genius.
It's just sad to see
crashing out
because like he was going to go down as one of the best all time. Just I wouldn't even say like artist, but just influential in the music game. Like, and now I mean I wonder how people are gonna talk about him in 20, 30 years.
Yeah, because like 808s and Heartbreak changed the rap game.
Yeah.
Like he's just always been like at the forefront of changing the face of music. And now it's like, how did we get to this point? Like, it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, with that being said, how do you want people to remember Jae Zole 20 years from now?
Honestly, I just want people to find some kind of comfort in my music. Like they could look back and be like, yeah, that song got me through some shit. I was doing a show. It might have been Jake's actually that you guys were at. I met a fan and he came up and he was like, yo, man, I'm a huge fan. You know, I love your music. And he's like, if I'm going to be completely honest, like some of your, like you saved my life. Like I was suicidal. My girl left and your music was like the main thing that got me through it. And like that moment changed like everything for me. It just, that alone is worth more than any dollar amount, any amount of fame you could give me. Like my music was enough to impact this guy's life in a positive way. And that's what I want. I don't care. I would be fine with not being the most famous guy on earth, but if I could help someone get through a shitty point in their life with my music, that's enough for me, honestly.
Damn, very well said. I think mine would be, I want to remember Cody as the most fit, handsome guy that I've ever met. And he was so nice and so humble, so down to earth. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like music, you can touch people in such a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Music is always like I've always felt a connection to it, and how I can just get instant goosebumps from a song that hits different. Like it is amazing what it can do for people emotionally, and like you were saying, like I think of songs like certain songs throughout my life, I can relate back to a certain time, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah.
Where I'll hear it now and I'll be like, oh man, this one really helped me. Fuck,
Mm-hmm.
I remember this one was hitting every time I got in the car at this point. And like then other songs, like my hype songs, like Can't Tell Me Nothing. That's literally like one of mine, or First Day Out by T Grizzly. If I have to get hyped up for something like serious that I'm doing, that's the last thing I'll listen
Yeah.
to, where it's like I'm just getting ready.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Well, there's a lot of songs that I can think of that I know exactly where I was, what was around me, who I was
know.
with when I
Yeah.
first heard that song. And like that's always what I associate it with. And so there's a lot of songs from like a certain time period that I can just remember
Yeah.
that was such a good time period that all those songs are still in heavy rotation on my Spotify, you know, things like that. So it's like when you can reach people at a certain time in their life, and it's always just so different. It's always a time and a place, because that's where you get some of these songs that are way ahead of their time, because you realize like this is the sound that I really like, that you find at a different point. It just resonates more, resonates better. And yeah, it's just such an interesting dynamic, because how you create it and what you create is so much different than how people can perceive it. And they kind of put their own spin on it,
I know.
or interpret it a different way.
Yeah. Music's always been like my therapy, basically. It's like when I was going through shit, you know, super low points in my life, just knowing that the stuff that I created in that time where I was at a low point can help someone else at a low point. You know, that, like I said, it's worth more than any dollar amount. To have someone come up and say, you know, you saved my life with your music. I mean,
Yeah.
that's...
Well, I think now more than ever, the barrier to entry to doing anything you want to do, especially creative, as far as content, as far as music, anything, is lower than ever.
Yep.
What would you say as a piece of advice to younger kids, or really anyone just trying to get involved with music in general,
Yeah.
on how to start and how to frame your mindset on how to get some level of traction?
Yeah. So I'm a pretty good example of this. I started, like I said, where I started, no connections to anybody in the music industry, literally just me, a laptop, and a mic. You just got to not give a fuck what anyone thinks of you. Because people are going to hate on you, especially when you're, you know, starting out. People are going to be like, this dude sucks. He's never going anywhere.
High school people love hating in high school.
Hell yeah, they love hating, bro. Even now, oh man, dude, they're ruthless.
Yeah.
But you can't care what people think of you, and you just gotta do it. If you love it, do it. I mean, why wouldn't you? You're alive one time. Why
if
would
you don't
not?
do it out of fear of what other people are gonna think, you're just cheating yourself, you know?
100%. I mean, if I always think of this, like, I can't think back to a time where I remember seeing like someone I didn't know in public do something, and I was like, I'm gonna remember that for 20 years. I'm never gonna forget what that person did.
Yeah, actually, I got to read you this quote that I just sent to Sam the other day. This is we were in a previous episode. We were just talking about, you know, anxiety and
Yeah.
personal development.
Because he doesn't have anxiety in.
No, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Me and the other guy that we're on, we're trying to explain to him how it works.
I've dealt with it pretty bad.
I definitely have anxiety, but I think I'm sort of one of those cases where anxiety is like I use it to fuel me rather than use it to
Yeah.
stop.
He doesn't
what I'm
have the
doing.
depression paired with it.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like depression anxiety. It's like
Yeah.
you know, like a constant need to feel like I'm overachieving anxiety. Like
Yeah.
keep pushing because of the fear of being complacent with where I
Yeah.
am. And that I think deters my ability to be happy with where I am at any point.
I deal with that a
You know
lot.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I sent this to Sam. It says anxiety tip. Next time you cringe over something embarrassing, or next time you cringe over some embarrassing moment you had years ago, try to remember other people's embarrassing moments.
Exactly.
You can't, can you? That's because you're the only embarrassing human to exist. Everyone else is always thinking about how cringy you are.
That's funny.
You know, so but it, I mean, going off of what you said, like you cannot remember something cringy that other people would
no.
say, but there is like a handful of moments I can remember in my life, and I'm like, I still think about like randomly when I'm laying in bed, like, why
Those
did I
are the
say
worst.
that?
You
Why
sit
did I
there,
say that?
Your heart just drops. Like, God.
They
Dude.
probably think I'm a loser.
Yeah.
I will ruin my day off of something I said when I was 16. Will be like,
Yeah.
oh.
Me too.
know.
Me too. Yeah. So I mean, you know, what it really comes down to is like, I think everyone is more critical of themselves than everyone else.
100%.
You will remember way more than anyone else will about
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and you just gotta do your own thing. You just gotta
Yeah.
only focus on what you got going on,
Yeah, honestly.
And I think that's really the way to succeed. And I think that's kind of like the theme that we see in people that we talk to.
Mm-hmm.
That's like anyone who has achieved any level of success, whether it's high or low, always has this mentality of you can't let other people's thoughts get in the way
Yeah.
of what you have going on.
You just got to realize, like, a lot of a huge reason people hate on you or hate on other people is because they got some deep-rooted insecurities themselves. Like, a lot of people that hated on me were probably at some point like, oh, I'd want to do music. That'd be kind of cool. Then they see someone else doing it, or like a podcast, like, oh, fuck, I would want to do a podcast. They're doing it. Fuck them. That shit sucks.
I would,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine would have been way better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's I was just actually listening to a podcast talking about like the root of passive aggression and like what passive aggression is. And all passive aggression stems from something that you see in yourself that you don't like.
Yep.
And there's always a level of relatability there. And that's where a
Yeah.
lot of like negative emotions come from, is you seeing something in someone else that you don't like about yourself and pointing it out to that person.
Yeah.
And to them, it doesn't
100%.
seem like that, but it seems like you're only coming at them,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, I mean, and that just goes right back to internet comments, you know?
Yep.
You can't let that impact what you
No.
have going on. But it does hurt when there's a sense of truth to it.
It does. But those
It
those
does
people
hurt.
that left the comment probably swiped away and forgot you even existed.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. They're not even going to
100%.
remember the
Yeah.
piece of content they commented
Exactly.
on. But I'll be thinking about that for weeks.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think, going off of what you said with just being yourself, it's a cliche, but especially in the way that the internet's working today, is people are sick of all this fake Hollywood orchestrated bullshit. They
sucks.
just want genuine people.
Yeah.
And the genuine, like, look at someone like Jelly Roll, someone that just
Mhm.
pours his heart out there and gives these crazy speeches, and people just love him. He's a
Yeah.
good artist. He's
Mhm.
not the best artist you ever heard, but right now he's at the top because people love the guy,
Yeah.
and I think just being genuine is everything.
100%. I agree. I think that's a reason a lot of people get attracted to my music. A lot of it's like about heartbreak, a lot of shit that guys don't really talk about, heartbreak, anxiety, shit like that. And I think that's a huge reason why a lot of people try to come to my music. It's just I talk about it because it's like, why wouldn't we?
100%. Well, Jay, dude, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Is there
man. Thank you
anything?
for having me.
Is there anything that you want to plug before we get out of here?
Shout out my boy Manny for cutting my hair. He got me right. Easy cuts in St. Cloud, but yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go follow Jae Zole on every platform. It's the same name on everything, right?
Yep.
JaeZole.
Yes,
Go
sir.
stream his music on Spotify. Go follow him on Instagram.
Go throw
to
on
YouTube.
Madden 24.
Go throw on
Yeah.
Madden
Little throwback.
24.
Play
on,
with some
yeah.
old rosters.
Listen to him. Go back and watch the live stream of the Bitcoin Festival where he was on Logic Set. I think just go support him. And we'll see you next week.